So with every new set that comes out, I usually make a should you buy video describing what's in the set way ahead of time because it's usually OCG sets that are imported into the TCG. But this time, things are a little bit different. We have a TCG exclusive product called Rarity Collection 2. You've probably heard about this before. This is another reprint set continuing from the success of Rarity Collection 1, which actually was an OCG set before. So the TCG saw that people were buying that crap like, hotcakes and decided to capitalize on that by making another set. We knew a few of the cards that were going to be releasing in Rarity Collection 2, but yesterday we got the full reveal due to the reveal openings from content creators, and now we have to figure out whether you should buy Rarity Collection 2. If you end up watching this video and decide you do want to buy it, make sure to check out the affiliate links in the description below from Kongs Cards and Tier 0 Games using code GALZO5 to get 5% off. Follow me on Twitter to know when the singles pre-sales go live, and let's start and discuss why or if you should buy Rarity Collection 2. Now we're going to do this a little bit differently, and we're going to look at the full set list because when it comes to TCG sets that are important from the OCG, we don't always have the full list because there are exclusives. But here, this is it, basically, besides Soul of Anguish, which is not in the set, but everything else is in the set. Now, I do want to judge this set on a few categories. One, and I think that is the most important one of them all, how much this set creates new meta-accessible cards, sort of similar to what the Rarity Collection 1 did. Now, if we're looking back at Rarity Collection 1, you had Pot of Prosperity, Baron de Fleur, Forbidden Droplet, Talents, all of them were like super meta relevant cards. And then you have a lot of other cards that are basically staples, a lot of hand traps that needed rarity upgrades and stuff like that. So it's not always that the set is going to be full of meta relevant cards, but it had some of the heavy hitters of Baron, Prosperity, Droplet, Talents that are mostly played in any deck, and a lot of people need them. Now, when you glance over this list, right here, those cards don't exist in this set. There's no Prosperity. Obviously, there's no an equivalent to Prosperity or Baron because those, I would argue, would have been Triple Tactics Thrust and Little Knight, which are the two most important staples that are played in like 95% of decks. Thrust is a staple in Branded, which is one of the main top decks. SP is literally in every other deck that is not branded. But there's a few things here. First of all, there is some acknowledgement here to past format combined with sort of like new support. So we have Charge of the Light Brigade and Raiko, which are two Lightsworn cards. Raiko not played recently. Charge is definitely something that could be played with the new support that released for Lightsworns in Legacy of Destruction. So there is some merit to Charge of the Light Brigade. It is very, very archetype specific, and this is something else that we should discuss because there shouldn't, in my opinion, be a lot of exclusive cards to archetypes, but there are, right? So these two, Rescue Rabbit is this was released as a rare in King's Court. No one plays this card. I'm pretty sure this might be a Time Wizard format card. It could be. And then Super Nimble Mega Hamster, which is out of left field completely. I don't really know why this is in here. Again, this is pretty sure it's an Edison reprint, right? And then we have cards like Mystical Space Typhoon and Duality, which I know are also past format cards. Maybe Twin Twister, I'm not sure. Warning. Duality is also played in Fluenderies currently, or like stun decks and stuff like that. So those are mainly the past format, the Time Wizard format cards, right? It's like 5 or 6 cards all over in this deck, which is, I think Lance is also one of them, which I think is fine, but just think about the goal of a set like Rarity Collection. The Rarity Collection set is, in my opinion, should do two things. One, it should provide accessible reprints to cards that a lot of people use. As many people as possible could use these cards, right? Which means a card like Pot of, let's say Book of Moon or Cosmic Cyclone is probably the best example. This is probably in 98% of side decks in any tournament that you go to right now. This card is hyper playable, right? And then there's Raikou, or Rescue Rabbit, or even Rescue Cat, which are more like flavor, right? They went for the alt art cards with Joel and Phantasme, right? They went with the other art of IP and Apo. So they went with like an alt art theme here, and that kind of justifies the other part of Rarity Collection, which is cool reprints of like higher rarity that are more accessible now to people who want to bling out their deck, right? But then the cards that are like, okay, Droll, Phantasme, DD Crow, awesome. Enemy Controller, Cosmic, things that are like really heavily played. IP, obviously, Appaloosa, Access Code, those are great. But then you get into the Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, the Rescue Cat, right? You get into the Bingo Machine Go, you get into the Sol and Luna, which was kind of weird. These, we knew about these, but this is actually fine, I think. It's cool that they didn't wait. So, like, a lot of cards here don't really fall, like, in either category of being, like, super, like, played in a lot of decks. There's just a few of these cards here, probably, like, 5 or 10. And there's not really a reason to bling out cards that are, like, Skullmeister, which came out as a rare like a couple of years ago. No one played this card since. So this is like the rant portion of this video. Let's talk about some cards that are missing, right? There are two big cards that came off the ban list now, Protoss and Colossus. I'm not sure if this set was planned before that happened, but it could have been nice to give like the Nemesis archetype and the Thunder Dragon archetype a max rarity card. I think that could have been important, and also, of course, lower the price of these very expensive cards. Protoss being like 1 print card, Colossus I think is like 2. They're not doing a lot in the meta, but people would have been appreciative of it because when you release cards from the ban list, there's a void of like, oh crap, this card has 1 print, and that is also Ib and Danglong, which also left the ban list without getting a reprint. Right? This could have also had Summon Sorceress, which should be on the ban, maybe the next ban list with the Narada. And then I think most importantly, it was Diviner of the Herald and Upstart Goblin, which were kind of a miss here, I think. Let's go over the things that I think are a win, right? I think hand traps are always a win, either because they are just, like, these cards are not inaccessible. Maybe Phantasme is a little bit, just because it doesn't have as many prints. But these are good to have. There are also fillers here because Chaos Hunter, Skullmeister, and those cards aren't really seeing any play now. They might in the future though, which makes it kind of future proof. Then we have these two, which just cards that they're trying to tie it to like push people to play the Silent Swordsman deck, even though I don't know if you actually play it. Pearly, this was relatively weird to me because this was like, hey, let's put in the 3 ultra rares from the Pearly archetype. So if you don't play Pearly and you pull these cards, it's just weird. Same goes for the Unchained reprints, but I think here it was really justified because this card was getting very expensive, and this card too, and there's also a little bit of Fiend support coming out, so I think it's overall okay. This was a joke. I could not believe my eyes when I saw this, but yeah, Luber, I mean, I'm going to have to buy Luber a 4th time, right? Which is actually insane. I think the planets were an awesome inclusion. A lot of cards here I called in my video. DD Crow wasn't announced previously. It was announced, I think, kind of late. Souls and Illusion of Chaos, pretty good. I mean, this just got a reprint in the tins, so again, you have to wonder, and this also has a Starlight, so you kind of have to wonder. Econ, Crossout, Cosmic, Foolish, Goldsark, Poly, Mind Control, Deployment, Lance I think is great. Twin Twister, awesome. This was an awesome inclusion in my opinion. This was really needed. This, I would skip it, but fine, maybe it'll get banned. Solemns are great. Now I think from the extra deck portion, I think it's fine. I think they again went a little bit too hard into branded. I think there are other cards like Do we need a Rinbroom in QCR, or would you rather have like a Phoenix Enforcer or a Winda or a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon? I think those would have been cool. These, I think these are wonderful because they got expensive. Masquerade, again, another overkill. Kind of like, okay, pushing on branded. But I think everything here was kind of okay. I think Assembled Nightingale could have been here. Link Spider could have been here. Metaverse could have been here. Like, think about removing Sol and Luna and putting Metaverse in. Or maybe Rafflesia, which just had like a common. It's kind of like a pimp bling to Trap Tricks, which are not really a thing anymore. There's a lot of things that I would have included. I think overall, we need to come to a conclusion. I think this product is good, right? There's a lot of things for a lot of people here. The problem is that nothing here is both meta relevant and currently completely inaccessible. Like, everything here is like kind of reasonably priced and really generic all at once, right? I think the only exception is Soul of Rage, which might actually be the most expensive card before the reprint, which is, you know, it says good things about the game, right? Other than like destroying a lot of like Starlight values that collectors are invested in, it doesn't do a lot. I think besides like the branded rarity upgrades, I don't need anything here. While Prosperities or Baron, I was like, yeah, I'll sell my Baron like 6 months in advance, get a new Baron like a Super or an Ultra, right? Make a nice profit, upgrade my droplets or stuff. Like this, I look at this and I'm like, I could have needed Xyz Encore a year ago, right? I don't need them anymore. Lance, same thing. This, kind of the same as well. This, kind of the same as well. This, also too late. You know, it's kind of too little too late. Overall, I think this set, if you had to like, explain this set in one word, it would have probably been too little too late for the whole thing. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you do decide you want to pick this up, again, affiliate links in the description below. Make sure to support on Kongs Cards and tier0games.com. I'm going to pick up some stuff like, you know, I'm gonna like my wallet is gonna scream. And after I got my 2 collector chimeras, what a shame. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.